The third and final round of our round-robin phase of today's tournament. First off, for Altrustic Armada, we have the Queen Anne's Zeal, Watch a Goldfish, light carronades on either side. Their ally, once again, is the Usul's Big One, Judgment, dual watches paired with Gatling and an Artemis this time. Their opponents, the Legio Lepidoptera Leviathan. First off, we have Lunamoth, which is a mine launcher mobula paired with dual Artemis and Gatling light flak. And their ally, GFA Dosidicus, blue Stormbreaker, dual Gatlings, Hwacha, and a light flak here on Peritron Rumble. And already Lunamoth out in the open, both the red ships now moving in, trying to close the gap on the target, while the GFA Dosidicus lies in wait. They're kind of not lying in wait so much as trying to strafe around and catch, I think, Usul's Big One, perhaps going to be the first target here for the blue Stormbreaker. You see mines already coming out from the Lunamoth, but not really enough to dissuade the Goldfish from chasing them, as Lunamoth does lose their balloon due to the side light carronades. Oh wow, in the background, Usul's Big One takes a huge amount of damage from that first clip from the Dosidicus, already within death range of the next armor break, but Big One on their own gets a good, possibly the best ever Hwacha connection. All the engines are down, all the guns are down, the Dosidicus are totally disabled, they're trying to moonshine away. Gatling now coming out from the Usul's Big One, armor's down as well. Are any, no explosive damage follow up here. And Dosidicus might be safe. I think this is going to be a difficult spot for the Judgment to chase them. If they play this correctly, there is a spot here they can actually, Stormbreaker can duck underneath this piece of terrain if they want to stay safe. Now switching back to Lunamoth, they get taken out by the Queen Anne's Zeal. So even if Judgment is unable to follow the Dosidicus down, which it looks like Dosidicus instead, once they repaired all their components, deciding to rise back up, fully re-engage the Red Judgment. Unfortunately, Judgment's high on armor, so they're not going to be able to get a fast kill, and certainly not before the Queen Anne's Zeal is able to rejoin the fight. And this is a bad spot now for the Dosidicus, and I think 1 point for the Altrustic Armada going to turn into 2 as Queen Anne's Zeal just blows their way through that Stormbreaker. Now, Usul's Big One did come out of that fight very heavily damaged, so that's potentially an easy kill for Blue Team if they're able to initiate a team focus on the damaged Judgment. Now, Blue Team taking very far spawns on the eastern side of the map. So you might be able to get some quick spots here from the Queen Anne's Zeal, taking a very high overwatch position. Goldfish is spotted. Stormbreaker, okay, there's the spot now. Mobula is visible as well, and shots coming out, so seems like everyone knows where everyone is, except maybe the Judgment. Still concealed. No, you know, Dosidicus probably saw the Judgment through the terrain there. Now, Usul's Big One has to be very careful. Judgment does have a lot of armor, but because they have so little health, they should probably be letting the Queen Anne's Zeal do a little bit more scouting information. Because if Judgment gets themselves into a bad spot, it's a slow ship. They're not going to be able to extricate themselves from a bad situation very easily. Certainly not as easily as a Goldfish can. Now, Queen Anne's Zeal unleashing Hwacha Barrage on the Dosidicus. Dosidicus trying to dodge it, but hits the crane, knocking them back down. They have no balloon. Balloon just rebuilt. Light carronade, potentially going to be re-engaging here. Looks like they're going to start with a Hwacha, smashing them into the ground. This might be another quick kill. Oh, Queen Anne's Zeal bumping a little bit, perhaps floundering. Someone might say in that situation. And Hwacha does break the Dosidicus's armor, but all the engines are still up. They're going for a ram here, smashing them into the ground, gliding by. Queen Anne's Zeal having a little bit of difficulty securing this kill. Dosidicus still taking very little permanent damage. And now I think Goldfish moving back a little bit once the Gatling re-engages. And here comes Watch It Connection. Incendiary Carronade almost taking out the Docidicus's balloon. It's burning. It might be going down here in just a moment. And it does. Queen Anne's Zeal has decided the Docidicus is not worth the trouble, so they've risen up here, at least for a moment, just to gain their bearings. Now dropping back down. I guess they just want a better angle. Watches now trading between the Docidicus and the Queen Anne's Zeal. And they do. Docidicus finally does get a kill, but the Lunamoth is able to pick off the Judgment at the height ceiling. Now, if the Queen Anne's Zeal was able to get that kill a little bit faster, they could have been on match point here, because the Lunamoth did take a long time to kill that Judgment. And it seems like Queen Anne's Zeal might be losing this 1v1 as well. So, potentially here, the little bit of indecision, a little bit of having a little bit of difficulty at the map floor, potentially costing Altrustic Armada 2 points, as now Legio Lepidoptera putting themselves back in this game. And blue team, at least Lunamoth, did not take any permanent damage in that fight. Pretty definitively dealt with that Judgment. And I wonder now, however, at the start of that fight, Usul's big one, as I said earlier, Judgment came in with very little health. So now with a full health Judgment, it's going to be much tankier, and it's going to take a much longer time for the Mobula. Mobula is a good control ship, but it does not get particularly fast kills against some of the tankier ships that have a lot of armor, especially the Lunamoth, which, taking another look at it here, they have no long-range piercing to pair with their Artemis, their dual Artemis, so they're relying exclusively on Lesmok. It looks like Lesmok Gatling, main gunner on that Gatling gun. But here comes Queen Anne's Zeal, Docidicus Gatling, taking down the armor of the Red Goldfish. Watch it coming out, most of it missing. Good evasive maneuvers from the Red Goldfish. Usul's big one putting out a watch of their own, a little bit far to do any major damage. And this is kind of a weird situation, because all these ships are mostly kitted out for close range. Lunamoth does have the 2 dual Artemis, but aside from that, it's all Watches and Gatlings. But because of the mine launcher, nobody really wants to commit. However, with that mine detonation you just saw a few seconds ago, Queen Anne's Zeal has decided to punch through the hole in blue team's defensive wall, going for the Mobula, but they've exposed themselves now to the Docidicus, and Usul's big one just unable to do anything. They saw the opening in the mine wall, they charged through, but the Judgment is not as fast as the Goldfish, so they left their ally behind and got easily dual focused by Legio Lepidoptera, and now Judgment in a pretty bad spot. However, I believe this is a red spawn, so if Judgment is able to tank through this, we could see a fast Goldfish spawn, depending on if the Altruistic Armada want to continue this fight. We should, yep, there's the Goldfish. So Usul's big one not taking too much damage. They're at about 60% perma hull, but so is the Lunamoth, and now maybe the tables have turned here. Docidicus not quite in a position to assist their ally Lunamoth, and looks like they maybe got stuck on the building and died because because of Spiriton Rumble. Oh, known shippable, guys. And, well, you know, sometimes the matches end with less of a bang, more of a whimper. And that's gonna be 5-3 for the Altruistic Armada. Nice work, I guess.